Hello everybody and welcome back to Extra Holiday Games. I'm Extra Holiday and ow. Good start, me. Good start. You know what? I was just resetting the cycle. It's fine. You know, the cycle was a little off because I paused and I didn't. So I was just resetting it. That's all. That's all that happened. Yeah. I was actually a pro gamer strat. And you all know it. Anywho, yeah. Do not like the Sandstorm. See, I would give Ross extra points if this level actually played Darude Sandstorm. But this is the second level where it feels like, you know, it's named after a song, but it doesn't really play the song, and it maybe could have. I guess Release the Kraken is also named after a song, but we just kind of skipped that. Man, that was sad. That was actually really satisfying. Cause like, I don't know. It was like, oh, here's this huge insurmountable challenge, but actually I just found a way to cheat it. And I'm pretty sure that's how Ross beat the level. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be there. But, you know, that sort of thing kind of gets old, you know. Especially when it's done in a way, because I have no doubt that the level's actually beatable if you go down the pipe and continue and you get chased by the fish and all that. I'm pretty sure you could actually beat that level. It's possible to beat, but I don't know, when the whole dev solution thing, that's death. The whole dev solution thing, in that case, kind of works, right? I mean, it does mean that a lot of people aren't going to experience the totality of your level, but it also means A, you don't have to spend a million years playing it yourself, and B, that, you know, people who do figure it out feel satisfied. It's the more egregious cases of, you know, dev solutions is when the level's just like either impossible or nearly impossible otherwise. Because I don't think Release the Kraken was nearly impossible. I just think it was hard. But I didn't really see the whole level, but I anticipate that that's what it was. And a lot of that's just having faith in Ross. But yeah, I don't know. There's some levels in this game where it's just like, oh yeah, you straight up can't beat this unless you find the hidden block with a vine in it or a star in it, and those are lame, right? Because those are just an exercise. Those are made just to be like, haha, I made a thing that you can't beat, haha, and that's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun to play. It's like, and this is something that I don't particularly have a lot of experience with, but is apparently a fairly common problem in D&D, which is DMs who take it upon themselves basically to kill their players as often as possible, because I guess they think it's a competition or something, which it really isn't. Right, like, it's not, like, D&D is not Call of Duty where you've got one team versus the other, and, you know, the one team is the DM and the other team is the players. No, because that competition is actually way too easy for the DM. Like, there's no real challenge to it. You can just, like, you're in control of the story, or like what happens in response to the player's actions. So you can just be like, rocks fall, everyone dies. I guess that's kind of a meme, but you can straight up do that as a DM. So like, and they kind of just either have to take your word or not play the game with you. So there's no, I don't see why anyone would derive any sort of satisfaction from a win like that. I mean, it's a lot like hacking in games, in competitive games. It's like, yeah, you're winning, but like, it's a hollow victory. You're not proving any sort of skill. You're just proving that you know how to install a program. And if it sounds like I'm salty because, you know, a lot of people who do that sort of thing would say, oh, you're just salty because, you know, you lost to a hacker. And I'm like, actually, I think I could probably count the number of hackers I've faced in online games on one hand. And frankly, I wasn't mad ever. I was just disappointed. Because really, I had the same idea. Like, is it really satisfying? Like, is getting the W really all that matters to you? I mean, I feel like the point of winning something is to prove that you're better at something than someone else. So, yeah, it's like I said, the only thing if you hack, then the only thing that you've proved you're better at is, I guess, computers, maybe. And that's not sure, that's a skill to be proud of in some contexts, but it's not, it's really not, it's definitely not the same as being a pro gamer. And I use that term unironically, because that term gets so often used ironically. Like an actual person who gets paid to play video games well. That's what I mean. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. To me, there is no satisfaction in victory if there's no challenge. And things like being a DM and just saying that your players die, or, you know, installing a mod into Counter-Strike that makes it so you can see through walls, like, those aren't challenges, really. I mean, if I... the salty part of me just... Well, not salty. What's the... I don't know, I guess I could just call it the mean part. The mean part of me is like... people who do that sort of thing must just be so starved for a win in their life that they want to get it by any means necessary, which is really, like, ultimately rather sad. Like, I really don't wish that sort of thing on that sort of life on anyone, because that if you're that desperate for that sort of thing, then it's man, I legitimately feel bad. Like, I don't want anyone to have to deal with that. So, I mean, but like, at the same time, that doesn't give you the right to take it out on people who don't have anything to do with the issues you're facing, you know? I am a firm believer that no one really has the right to push their problems onto someone else. And I guess there might be some exceptions to that rule. A lot of the times, the right thing to do is for someone who is not in that position, who's in the opposite position, where, you know, someone is asking them for help. Right? Well, and see, that's another thing, is it's one thing if you're asking someone for help, and it's another thing if you're just involving them in your problem without asking. Right? Because If you're asking someone for help, then they've got the opportunity to say no. They can, and they're, for all you know, as the person asking, there could be some circumstance under which they can't help you. But if you just, if you just take things out on them without, explaining the situation, or sometimes you don't even understand the situation yourself. If you just take out your problems on other people, then it's just, it's unfortunate. You're not giving them any sort of consideration as to whether they can actually, whether A, they're capable of helping you, and A, what it would cost them to do so. And I think those are very important things to consider when it comes to having other people help you with your problems. Also, a lot of the times, if you're forcing someone to help you, it doesn't actually solve your problem. Like in the case of, you're frustrated with another part of your life, so you take it out on someone else. Like that doesn't actually help you, because it doesn't actually solve the problem. Like, yeah, maybe you vented some frustration, but like, A, there are better ways to do that don't necessarily hurt people, and B, your whatever problem you have is probably still there, so it's probably just going to happen again. And on top of that, the way people tend to react to that sort of thing is to fight back, right? I've seen it a million times before in League, where someone will get upset that someone's playing poorly, and they'll take it as a personal offense. They'll be like, hey, why are you feeding that lane? You're gonna lose us the game, blah blah blah. And some frustration is understandable, right? Like, it doesn't feel good to fail at something because of something that's not your fault. But when you assume that it's because the other person has something against you, or like, basically when you treat the person who made a mistake as someone who is actively trying to hurt you, then they know for a fact that they really haven't done anything that bad, because their intentions were not to hurt you. So, of course, they're going to be like, wow, this guy's being a jerk. I just made an honest mistake, and he's acting like he's acting like I'm an asshole. So yeah, most of the time when people are in that situation, they'll be like, no, actually, you're the asshole. So it doesn't work, is what I'm saying. Like, raging at people on the internet for genuine mistakes does not work. Or in any context, actually. It doesn't even have to be on the internet, because it happens offline too. A lot of people just love to assume malice before incompetence, and it's really... I mean, it really sucks for someone like me who really messes... I never mean to hurt anyone, right? Like, I'm even someone who really doesn't like hurting someone in retaliation, but I still mess up, and when I mess up, I sometimes hurt people, and when they're like, wow, I can't believe you would do that, you asshole, I'm like, it hurts, man. It hurts. Like, I wasn't trying to hurt you. I'd rather not. But now that if you're gonna be a jerk about it, then I'm not gonna... Oh, okay, I needed to hold the run button there. So close. It's just... I don't know. People disappoint me frequently in regards to that sort of thing. That's why and I'm not trying to say that I'm better than everyone else, but I try to give people... I try to assume more often than not that people messed up rather than they're actually trying to hurt me. And when I understand, and when I come at it from that angle, a lot of the time, a lot of what people do makes sense to me. It's like, it's, right, it makes a lot more sense that, basically, it kind of changes your entire view of people when you come at it from that angle, because when you do, it's like people are imperfect rather than people are assholes, right? If you're assuming that people who hurt you are always trying to hurt you, then clearly the conclusion you'll come to is that the world is full of assholes because, you know, there's all these people trying to hurt me. But if you believe that they're just genuinely making mistakes, and sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not, I will say that, you know, some people do intentionally harm each other at times, usually in retaliation, or what they feel is retaliation anyway. But if you do believe that more often than not people are just making mistakes, then it leads to the conclusion that, you know, people are just imperfect. They're not jerks necessarily. They're not bad people. They're just not perfect. And I think the only way you can blame someone for being not perfect is if you're perfect yourself. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not perfect. That being said, and there's a lot of asterisks in this conversation. Someone who messes up and then knows that their mess up hurt someone and then does nothing to improve. That is worth that's worth, you know, at least a glare, you know. That's not the good thing to do, I should say. That's something that irks me as well, is when, I mean, frankly, that irks me more than when people just don't realize they've messed up, because that happens a lot too. In fact, I do that a lot. Where I just don't realize that someone's been negatively impacted by something I've done. Because, like, if you don't know, you don't know, really. And to some extent, people have a responsibility to let others know when they've done them harm, right? Like, if you offend me in some way and I don't tell you about it, then chances are you're not gonna know that you ever offended me, and can I really blame you then for doing it again later? Like, if you didn't know you were doing anything wrong? Because that's another part of not being perfect, is people don't always know when they're hurting others. So, yeah, it's just, it's complicated, but at the same time, it's kind of not, right? Because, I don't know, I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me, and I can't for sure say that, you know, all these things that I'm saying are correct. They're just my observations based on my life and the people in it, and, you know, maybe I've just been really lucky in that I haven't actually met anyone who is truly evil. Maybe I'm just that lucky, but I don't know. I find it hard to believe that actual evil exists in anything but fiction. Because as far as I can tell, there are two reasons that people do things. The first is that they didn't really think it through much. You know, that happens sometimes. People just kind of react without thinking, and that can be good, it can be bad. And the second reason people do things is because they thought it was the right thing to do. You know, and then as far as I'm concerned, those are really the only two reasons that people do things. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be a jerk today just because. That just doesn't happen, you know. That's the sort of thing you only find in, you know, those old comic books. Because I'm fairly certain that newer comic books take a little more nuance to their villains. But yeah, that's seriously just, as far as I'm concerned, that's just fiction. There are people like that I don't think exist. And again, it could just be because I haven't met one, maybe. But I don't know. One can only really draw conclusions from the facts that they observe, really. So yeah. I don't know. How does one follow up a conversation like that? Anyway. Trying to beat this level. It's hard. It's tough. Ow. Because I keep running into the dry bones. Am I going to get 3 game overs on this level? It's going to be real awkward if I do. Okay. I do feel like I'm kind of getting a feel for the timing of the Sandstorm. Apparently not a good enough feel, though. Although it wasn't actually the Sandstorm that killed me there. It was just me going too far. Okay, alright, we've got this. It's not a problem, we've got this. Now that our philosophy lesson is over, is it philosophy? I guess pontificating on the nature of humanity is a form of philosophy, yeah. Ow. Yeah. But now that that's over, we can focus on the game, because that always helps us. Ow. I just held right there. I'm not sure why, I just did. It's awkward. Very, very awkward. Okay, alright. Alright, okay, alright. We got this, we got this. It's not a problem. We got this. Alright, I feel like that first section is the hardest part. Okay. I say as I almost die again. I say as I die again. Great. Alright. Take a swig of water. That was instruction to both me and you at home. I wasn't paying attention because I was taking a swig of water, but it's fine. We'll take another swig of water. That'll make it better. Alright. Alright. Okay. Ow. I'm curious to see. Because I do anticipate that this will happen. But I am curious to see how people will respond to various things that I talk about on the show down the line. Because right now, I don't get a lot of comments. Like, I got 1 or 2 people who are pretty consistently posting comments. But, like, it's the exception, not the rule, when a video of mine has a comment on it. That's not spam, because specifically these Mario Maker videos have been getting a lot of spam comments on them. But I am curious to go back eventually when more people have watched these episodes and more people have commented to see, you know, just how, just what people think of the things I talk about, because I am interested in the opinions of others, if only slightly. Right, like I'm not the type of person to take people's word as gospel, but even if they're a priest or something. Which is probably explains why I'm not religious, but yeah. I don't know. I'm curious. And I have no doubt that someday there will be more comments on this video. But for now, I must wait. Much like with D&D, I must wait. I'll probably have to wait a little longer for the comments than I have to wait for D&D, but it's fine. I do not need either to survive, so it's fine. As long as I survive long enough. That's really the trick, isn't it? To doing just about anything, is you have to survive long enough. Can't really accomplish much, but if you die before you finish doing it. It's probably why we spend so much time trying to keep ourselves alive. That makes some sense. Yeah. Okay. Got 5 lives left. Can we do it in 5 lives? Let's see. I think. Probably. Maybe. Let's see. You know, I've been pretty thoroughly watching Ross's reactions to the Grumps playing these levels. As of the recording, they haven't gotten to this level yet, but it kind of has me, you know, occasionally imagining, you know, when I'm daydreaming, which I do tend to do quite a bit actually. Sometimes I imagine, you know, what he would say about my playthrough. And Ross, if you're ever watching this, I kind of doubt that you ever would, but if you are, hi, hello, I like your levels and a lot of the other stuff you make. But you know, I'd be curious to hear what he said about my play, because just looking at looking at how he responds to how Aaron plays is kind of amusing. Because he spends a lot of the time basically just face palming. Just being like, no, you're doing it wrong, Aaron, and you're doing it wrong again, and you keep doing it wrong. And I imagine it would be pretty similar with me, except the only difference is I'm not friends with him. So, you know, he'd probably be a bit more hesitant to give me crap for playing the level wrong. Yeah, okay. Definitely expected the Sandstorm to kick in earlier there, but it's fine. We managed. Too hasty. All right, 1 life left. We got this. This is the life. We're gonna do it. Huh. We got it. We've got it. We've got it. We've got it. This is not a problem. Not at all. We're just gonna do it. Okay. 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 All right. We're good. Everything's fine. We're good. It's definitely not tense at all, given that this is the last run of the episode. We've got it. Okay. Okay. Got it. I will say it is actually kind of nice that my walking speed while the Sandstorm is going is the same as the Dry Bones walking speed. Oh god. No! Yet another game over. Something tells me we're gonna see a few more of those in the future. But hopefully none of them next time. Because, as for this episode, And it's a wrap. This song's a banger, though.